Everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a very sensitive topic. It has been doing round in social media in the world for some time. But first I have to introduce this is a topical issue. It has to do with occultism and human sacrifice. There have been times when we have seen very horrifying videos on social media. People who have traveled to different places, human beings trafficked, and then we see them being tortured under horrifying conditions on video, and it's released so that people are able to see. You cannot be able to detect where it came from. Like there was a case of a person who had come from one of the East African countries and was working in some Asian countries, and I think should have been something occultic. There was a video of her having been tied upside, being clubbed to death. There was another one in Libya when people are moving. Some of the people trafficked being knocked with metals, all their limbs being, and that is put on video and it's moved. And many others. There was a time I was talking to one of the neighbors in a place I used to stay, in some town. I moved from there. This neighbor had been to many countries abroad as a nurse. And there was a time she said such a things happened. In fact, to her, what she told me appeared to be an exaggeration. And I could not argue in myself. I said that is an exaggeration. But I've come to realize it wasn't an exaggeration. She said when she was in some countries abroad, secretly human meat was being sold and there are people who could be able to access it. And I wondered how. Then later as things went by, I came to realize that in the human history, things have happened that have related to the same issues. The fall of the first kingdom of Egypt was due to drought, and there were some things that happening and human beings turned on one another and they were cannibalizing one another. I looked at some other places. I was able to come to the Aztec Empire in Mexico. The capital town was Tenochtitlan, the present day Mexico City. And there was a temple called Temple Mayor, where human beings would be sacrificed, their abdomen and chest cut open, and their palpating heart removed and thrown, being believed that it was going to bring rain. They would have wars. They were calling them flower wars, where you fight, and the aim was to get captives for sacrifice. And the chiefs of those tribes, if captured, would be put against warriors in a mock fight. And the warrior who would kill him would remove his skin, that's flay his skin, wear his skin for a whole month, I think, week or a week. And then the family of the warrior would eat the flesh of the slain person. So these things have been going on. And what I kept asking myself, why is it that scaring things have happened in the world? There was a case when we were reading history about this fort I've been talking about for Jesus that was built in East Africa. There was a time when the Portuguese there and the people around were invaded by a tribe that was cannibalistic called Wazimba. And as the war was going on, the Portuguese and the African supporters are fighting, but those of theirs that were being killed, you will be seeing, you are fighting on this side, you are seeing your Poles that have been killed being cooked and eaten on the other side. It was very scary. The Portuguese had to look for reinforcement. Fortunately, the Wazimba tribe was all eliminated. It's extinct. But such a things have happened in different countries of the world, there was the what they call the Thugis. I think Thugis. I think that is where the word thug may have come from in India, who would strangle their victim and sometimes bury their victim alive. Warriors in New Zealand, the Maoris, when you fought against your enemy and you defeated your enemy, the utmost disrespect you could give to the warrior was kill the warrior, cut the warrior to pieces, eat the warrior, and then pass the warrior as tool. Then you would have done him shame to the last minute. That's how they believed. So we find these things were happening in different countries of the world. In the Bible, they have been touched. There is Baal and Astaroth. When people wanted to sacrifice to them, they would take small babies, and then there was something shaped like a human hand, and this metal is heat, red hot, and then a child is put there to burn, screaming as they die. So they believed that when they were doing this, their gods would respond to their crises and their problems. I tried to find out what could be the real cause of this. And I realized that as we were looking into the sacred books, during the writing, there were some corrections that people made believing that they were not godly. And these things would have given us an explanation to why these things happen. I would like to quote a book, the book of Enoch in the Bible. It talks of watchers, angels who had been sent. They came and married human ladies. They had children, and the children were so evil. They were giants. They were involved in so many things. They taught people witchcraft. They taught people warfare. And when we see in the Mexican, the Aztec thing, warfare was supposed to get food for the gods. So these things have gone up to the place where you find, due to our lack of understanding, we fought from one level. We've not been able to fight everything from the inner level. And after generations, such a thing regenerates in people. Because it's not about people, it's about the spirit that influenced that. So, in that book, you will meet angels, whatever, and due to that, the breed that was born, that is why God had to finish the earth with water during Noah's time. I've also looked at some books that were not canonized and found some things that if they had been released to the people, or sometimes if somebody can consult them, you can be able to join the dots and find out what happened. For instance, when Jesus came, he would exorcise demons. But we don't get to know where demons began. There is a book that was not included in the Old Testament. A subsection of it is called Zorah. It talks of Adam's encounter with demon. And a woman who eventually ended up being the mother of demons. So something like that would have added us to getting to know what are these demons that are being exorcised. If you go to other religions, like you go to the Hindu religions, there is in the Gita a book when the war was being fought in Kurukshetra, there was a warrior called Katochak. Katochak was a crossbreed between a human being and a demon. And he could shape shift in the battle. And the mother, the way the book was saying, used to eat humans. So we find this spirit has come along, and God gave Jesus Christ with an intention that Once Jesus Christ sheds his blood, there'll be no more human sacrifice. That was to be the end of human sacrifice. So as from Jesus onwards, we have no human sacrifice. But the question should be, why is it that we've not revisited these books? We would have known how to go about such issues. So in the present time, such a things, because the spirit that is there is still moving around, we could find ways of bringing this to a communication, people to people, religion to religion. How can we be able to counter such a thing from a resurgence? Because when the flood swept the people, we ended up having necromizing spirits and many other things, because the angels could not be able to go. They were stopped from going back to heaven where they had been sent from. And their offspring, something I think happened to the spirit. That's why we had whatever is happening. Jesus came and cleansed everything. That was the last, according to Christians. I don't know what the other religions take it, but it is because of what happened in the book of Enoch, the rebelliousness of the angels scattered across the world, that we ended up having such a things that some human beings, most of us will call vices. So a rectification to this is a revisitation to also those. We just be open, we get to know angels came, they did this, they did that. It's not that it be put in be canonized books, but people can revisit and get to know this is how it began. And then the solution was Jesus Christ. So this is a problem that has been worldwide. Nowadays it's being played hidden, but it is still there from the videos we see. So all the people who believe in religion, believe different religions and have faith, for Christians who believe in Christ, this is a time to find out and then come up with solutions on how we can spiritually counter this. That is all I have to talk about. Spiritualism, occult movements, because they are secret, many of us do not know, and human sacrifices, because they still go on. Unless for those who have embraced things like Christianity, for those who will operate within, it's still an ongoing thing. I beg to stop here. Any comments, any corrections, you can be able to give.